Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, I have discussed about that component, how you can create some of the functional component, how you can organize all that component, and what exactly the output of this component, right? One by one, here I have loaded multiple component in our one place. So now friend, in this video, I want to discuss about that JSX. Here, when you create some of the component, here you can see I have actually make it our extension as a JSX directory. Right here, I have actually passed that our file name as a JSX, for the component as a contact component, for the footer component also I make it as a JSX. So what exactly that JSX? And here if you go, I have already write down some of the things in here, but I want to now close it. I show you that is also very important, one of the things, like right now I want to close it, and also here I want to close it. So in our app.js, here actually I write down that things like that way, right? Here I take one of the h1 tag, into the h1 tag I put it as a hello, okay, hello 1, and that means hello 1. And also here if you take another one, I take another one as a hello 2. And if you understand it, like here I click as a save all, and if you now go, you can see it's not output as a hello 1 and a hello 2, and this code is just like as a HTML. Right, so here that is actually just like that HTML, but it's not like that. Here that is actually the JSX file. So JSX is meaning for the JavaScript XML. That means JSX is the syntax extension for the JavaScript that allow you to write a HTML-like code in your JavaScript code. Like here right now, that is our HTML, that you can see that is just like that HTML code, but here you can also load that JavaScript. Like here if you make it as a third bracket, and into the third bracket if you make it as a 2, I make it as a 2 plus 2. Okay, now what type of data that will be I show you. If you click as a save all, and now if you go, you can see it's returned that our JavaScript value as a 4. That means that is not that HTML code. Okay, that is here you can also apply the JavaScript code. So there have some of the JSX convention that you have to remember. So there is very similar with the HTML, but here also they have some of the conventions I want to also share that things with you. Like first of all, you need to return a single parent element. Single parent element means here you can see that is actually started by this div. So that is one of the div is started, div is ended. So that is the div is a parent, and into the parent area whatever the things you will be added, that will be your child. Simply remember and understand this part, friend. So first of all, here you have to load one of the parent element. So that is a parent element right now as a div, and into the div area, so that is started, that is ended, so that is our parent element. And into the parent element area, whatever the code you will be added, so that will be your child element. Okay, so parent element may change it. Here that will be not needed as a div. You can also use it as a div, you can use it as a main, you can use it as a p tag, you can also use it as a span. Okay, you can also use it as a span. So whatever the things, but here make that sure you have to load one of the parent element. And also if you want to make it as empty, you can also make it as empty. So that will be the empty started, empty will be as ended. So that is actually your total parent element. Into the parent element you have to must add it. Okay, that will be our parent, and here you have to load it your all that child element. Okay, and also in React.js there is another parent element as a fragment, where later I will also use it multiple time as a fragment. So that is actually the fragment. Okay, here that is also another parent element as a fragment. You can also able to use it. Okay, then automatically that will be imported the fragment from to the React. So that is a fragment actually comes from to the our React. Okay, right now it's fine. Okay, here I hope you get some of the point. And then our another convention will be you can implement JavaScript directory in JSX. As I told you before, here you can see that is one of the JavaScript code, right? There is a 2 plus 2. It's already getting that our output perfectly as a 4. So if you want to write down any other JavaScript in particular that area, you can also able to add it. Like here I want to show that our date time. So if you want to show it, that will be as a new, and I want to call it as a date, and date function that is on the JavaScript code, right? So there is a get time. I want to simply load it that get time function. Now if you click as a save all, that will be also updated. You can see there is a date time is also successfully executed. See, in HTML you cannot do this work. Okay, so as I told you, that is not that HTML. It's look like as HTML, but that is the JSX, all that convention. And also there is another convention as a all tag self close in JSX. So what exactly that means? It means in your HTML here, if you load any other things like as the input things or any other things as you want, like here if you want to load the image and into the HTML area here, if you don't want to close it, okay, so only if you run that as an image tag, if you load that image SRC, then that will be executed. But in JSX here, you have to must have to be and close. That means that here you have to close and end it. Okay, and when you end it, you can see our error is totally gone. If you remove it, then you can see it's automatically getting that our error. Okay, so make that sure here you have to always end this close. As in HTML, if you write down one of the BR tag, you can also use it like as a only BR. Okay, but in JSX here you have to close it. Okay, I hope you get some of the idea. And also another convention will be class name. Class name and HTML for not class and for in JSX. It means here if you want to load one of the class name, like here I want to load one of the p tag. So that is a p tag is started, p tag is ended. So in HTML, if you want to load one of the class, you can actually load it by the class, right? So that will be as a class, and here you load that things like that way in HTML. But in JSX, you can see it's getting one of the error. So into the JSX area, if you want to declare some of the class here, only you have to name it as a class name. Okay, that will be as a class name. So that is the simple difference between HTML and then JSX. So in our JSX area, if you want to declare some of the class, you have to write down as a class name. And also another convention will be write all HTML attributes in camel case in JSX. That means in your JSX area here, if you want to declare some of the functions, like I want to load one of the button. So that is a button is started, button is ended. So in here, if you want to load as a on click, okay, so in HTML we can use it as a on click, but that will be not executed. So in JSX here you have to use it as a camel case. That means first of all that will be as a on, and C will be as a capital. Okay, and also if you want to load one of the on submit, you can also you have to load it as a on, and then S should be as a capital. Okay, then make that sure here you have to use it as a camel case, then that will be actually executed, rather than if you make it as a on submit, then you can see it's getting already one of the error. Here you have to use it as a camel case. That means that should be as a on, and then that will be as a submit. That means H should be as a capital. Okay, so here I hope you get the point. Here make that sure your HTML attributes should be as a camel case in JSX. And last one, that will be as a write inline style as object in JSX. It means here if you want to load some of the inline CSS, like I show you, like here I want to close it, like there is a h1 tag. So into the h1 tag area in our HTML code, how we actually added all that our style. So that will be as a style, and into the style area here we put it like that way as a color. Okay, right, that will be as a color will be as a red, right? Here in our HTML we actually use it like that way. Here if you now click as a save all, if you now go, you can see it's not getting anything. Okay, it's not getting anything. That means that is actually not executed. Okay, here it's not executed, so that will be not work like that way in JSX area. So here if you want to do this work, in that case we have to do here, that will be another format in JSX. I show you. In that case we have to load that our style, so that will be as a style, and into this style area here we have to declare that our object. Okay, so that is actually our object will be as a color, and color I want to make it as a red. Okay, so that I make it as a red. So in JSX here, if you want to load some of the inline style, we have to load it like that way. Now if you click as a save all, now if you go to that our project, and you can see it's now successfully updated our color as a red. Okay friend, I hope it's very much clear to you. So that is some of the, as I told you, that is look like as a HTML, but that is not as HTML. Here that is our JSX. So into the JSX area, they have some of the convention, all that convention I have already shared, all that convention. Make that sure you remember it. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.